Hi, and welcome to this video. We're going to talk about the first step of the research process, and that is to understand what we are asked to do. Basically, understanding the information need. The first thing that we need to do is read the instructions completely and look at any examples that are given to us, whether it's from our boss or from our client or from instructors or professors in college. We also need to know how we're going to be evaluated. Many times professors include a grading rubric. So make sure that you understand how the project is going to be evaluated, understand what kind of research you need to do, and what kind of sources are acceptable. Carefully look at the instructions to see if the instructions contain enough information to answer these questions. Sometimes we have to do research where all we have to do is go into the library or the library's website and find articles from magazines, newspapers, or peer-reviewed sources or books. Sometimes the type of research that we need to do involves us doing some sort of experiment or conducting a study or creating a survey and checking to see the answers to this survey. What we're doing in this class is just strictly doing library research. We don't have to worry about creating a survey and exploring the results, finding people to interview, none of that stuff. All we're going to do is use the library's databases to find articles from newspapers, magazines, journals, peer-reviewed sources, electronic books, and information about books. Unfortunately, because of the situation that we're in with COVID, we cannot actually access physical books or physical library collections. I do know that there are some public libraries that allow you to place holds on books and request books, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to use the resources that we have freely available online to make it easy for you and for me. The next step is to always ask for help. Always ask for clarification from your professor or from your boss, from your clients, etc. You can apply everything that we're covering in this class also to your professional and work life. What we're going to do for this class is take a careful look at the annotated bibliography assignment. So let's go ahead and do that now. Back to my slides. Now, before you get started, we all have to come up with a plan. So what I want you to do, or to get into the habit of, whenever you have a research project, plan to use an outline and come up with a method for collecting and keeping track of all of your sources and all of your notes. For this class, you only have to find 5 great, really fantastic sources. When you take advanced level courses, either psychology, sociology, or transfer to CSU, Pepperdine, etc., you're going to be doing more extensive research projects where you may have to find 10, 15, 20 sources. So keeping track and organizing all of your sources is going to be very important and is going to be very helpful to you at the end. So keep that in mind. Plan to use some sort of organization system. I recommend using some sort of outline to help you keep track of all of your sources. Keep up with your sources using either Google Docs or a Google Drive or OneDrive, where you're going to attach and email all of your sources into one place. Keep them nice and neat and organized. And for every research project, always keep in mind what is the citation style that you're going to be using, whether it's MLA, APA, Chicago Manual. These are the 3 most common citation styles used in community colleges and universities. However, depending on your field of study or your major, you may need to use different types, whether it's the Associated Press or some other type of style. So for each research project, know which one you need to use. That way you can collect the citations in that particular format. That will also help you out at the end. It will help you save time. Now, come up with some sort of way, whether you used index cards, the index card system, or you can just create a Google Doc with a chart like this. And here's a link to one of my versions where you just create a citation and then you'll have a section for your notes where you're taking quotes and the page number of great facts or ideas where that came from. So you have it all nice and neat in one source, in one resource, one document. So you can always pull from it whenever you need it. That's just a suggestion. You don't have to do this particular thing for this class, but I highly recommend that you do it, or especially do it for other larger research projects for other classes. But just to keep things simple, I do want to make that recommendation to you, but it's optional. You don't have to do it, but it will definitely be helpful. Another great tool that I suggest is coming up with some sort of template. Use a template like a research outline. So here's an example of one where this particular outline has the thesis, or what the main point of what your essay or your research project is going to be, or the research question that you're trying to answer, and then you'll have your body paragraphs as to what are the certain elements that you're answering or different points that you're addressing and where you get your information from. So I'm going to click on this link and you can access the sample. So here's one. I did not create this. This is from another university, but I do have a link to it because I think it's fantastic. You don't have to use it exactly as how it's stated in here, but I do like it because this outline, it's more to help you organize your thoughts and will help you create a better research project. You could start off your outline by putting in your thesis or your research question. And then you're going to put in the, your body paragraphs, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and basically what is the concept that you are arguing, what are the major points. So you would have, for each point that you're making, you would have a paragraph. And then you can list your supporting evidence, and this would be the quote where you got the source from, along with the in-text citation. And you would put in a note to yourself, an explanation as to why you picked this particular quote or idea from that source and what it means. So this outline is just to help this particular student organize all of their research and where they found the sources, where they found the information within the source, and they're using their own in-text citation. Here's another in-text citation. So you would apply that to your own research project. For this class, you don't have to create an outline for your research project, but it is definitely something that I would recommend that you do or get into practice of doing for each research assignment. Whether your professor requests an outline or not, I would recommend that you still get into practice of doing it. It doesn't have to be exactly as this. It's just some way for you to keep track of the points that you're making and the resources that you're using to support your points and where you got the information from the sources, because that is what's going to help you avoid plagiarism. And it just helps you keep everything nice and tight and together in your research project, whether it's an essay that you have to write or a PowerPoint or some other type of presentation related to your research project. So that is the end of this video, in which we just talked about understanding the research need or the assignment and how to come up with a plan and keep in mind certain things about the projects that you're doing. Come up with a plan to organize all of your sources, and make sure that you keep all of your sources still organized until after the end of the class. And that is a good suggestion for any class that you take. Keep all of your sources, whether you email them to yourself, put them on a Google Docs or on a flash drive. Keep them there until after you get the grade at the end of the semester for each of the classes, because you never know when you might need it. So after you get that grade for the class, then you can go ahead and delete it, unless it's something that you want to keep for maybe future projects. Thank you. See you next time.